Welcome to episode 82 of the Twig Snapper Podcast. Today I'm joined by Sophia Bellina, goalie for the RIT women's hockey team. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm a lot better now that we figured out our Zoom issues and our volume issues, and technology is a mess.
Yeah, that took a while, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, if I would have remembered a little bit sooner that Zoom does not agree with my microphone, we would have been at this a little bit quicker. But it is what it is, and we're rolling now, so we'll just go with it, and hopefully we don't have any more technological issues.
Hopefully
So
not.
we'll have you maybe just start off. I'm gonna kind of group these all together because they're all pre-RIT, but you could maybe dive into your time at the Culver Academy, USA Hockey National Tournament, and being a 16U champ. Kind of go into all of those things, maybe in the order they happened and everything.
Yeah, so I actually started playing for Pittsburgh ever since I was little. I started there when I was 8. I'm originally from Cleveland, so it was definitely a haul, but it was 100% worth it. Played there all the way up to U19. I played there for 1 year. I always played up. U16s, it was unreal. Best feeling ever. So yeah, we won the national tournament. Honestly, it's like a crazy feeling, when that buzzer rings, you're in shock and you don't believe it. It's pretty awesome. After that year, I played 1 more year at Pittsburgh, and then me and my family decided that going to boarding school would probably be the best option. COVID happened and recruiting was kind of tough at that time. So I went to Culver Academy. Honestly, best decision I made. Went there. They're a great program, awesome. I was able to skate all the time. Got in there, played almost every game. It was a great feeling, great to be there. The first year I was there actually was the first year they ever made it to nationals, which was pretty awesome. We went there, had a great time. Like, we didn't do as well as we wanted to. We were put in a pretty tough bracket. And then my senior year, I had an injury kind of set me back, but kind of got through that and started speaking to RIT, which was a great feeling. Committed there over summer. And then I headed right back to Rochester.
All right, so that's a lot of exciting stuff going on pre-college.
Yeah.
Like your first taste of major success, as a kid too. Like, winning any championship is exciting, but when you win something that major, it's that much more thrilling. I mean, that's all kids want to do is win.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my parents about it a while back. We were like, everyone goes to the national championship with the goal to win. I mean, there's people there from all around the world. You have the teams that had been knocked out earlier watching. I mean, it's like having a packed college stadium before you go to college. It's just an unreal feeling.
Yeah, it's something that not everyone gets to experience either, which is another thing that makes it special. Is that only the select best get to participate and go that far and then win it and say they won it.
Yeah.
you know but we'll talk more about RIT now. I just kind of a little bit of stuff before people know where you came from, and obviously, like you said, COVID kind of made everything a lot harder. But luckily, your first season at RIT, COVID was less of an issue for college teams to play and travel. So that had to have been better. I know, talking to a lot of guests, they came in their first year, was COVID year, and obviously that's not like really a good gauge of what college hockey is because everyone's playing short seasons, or some teams didn't play any seasons. They got 6 games. Some teams have like 13, and like practicing in pods. So luckily you missed out on that fun.
Yes, I did.
But you came in and you played in 6 games as a first year.
Hmm.
Did you know you were going to get playing time when you came in, or was that something you kind of had to like earn your spot?
Well, obviously, like, when you're getting recruited, they're like, you obviously have a chance to play, like, you have the potential, but you're not promised games. It's definitely like an earn your spot. We have a goalie who came in her freshman year and played almost all the games. So it was definitely a battle for that one. And getting into 6 games was crazy to me. I mean, I expected to play in a couple. I didn't expect to play in that many. I am the youngest goalie on the team, obviously. So going against those girls was very competitive. But once I got rolling, it kind of became a toss up in the air of who was going to go. And just everyone had to kind of be prepared, but definitely not promised. Definitely did not know how it was going to go right away. But once they threw me in, I just kind of had to be ready and battle it out. That's for sure.
Once they throw you to the wolves of college hockey, you gotta,
Gotta get used to it very quickly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of like getting used to it, did you have any hard adjustments to make? I mean, college hockey is a different beast compared to, before. I mean, you've got people from all over the world coming to play one of the highest levels of hockey that there is in a developing stage. I mean, the NCAA Division I women's hockey is the best hockey. I mean, for a lot of nations, that's where all of their national teams come from. I mean, the US and Canada are a little bit of exceptions because we're bigger hockey communities, but like, all of these other schools, their national teams are made up of their NCAA players that are playing at the D1 level. So, I mean, you're playing against the best people in the world in the NCAA.
Yeah.
Did you have any hard adjustments adjusting to the different play style, speed of the game, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, we played St. Lawrence was the first game that I ever started in. And it's funny you say that about the national players, because their whole first line was national players, mix of US, Canada, and even China. So I have to say the first period for me was kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't too big of a change. I mean, over the summers, I have an older brother, and I just train with boys on the D1 level. So speed wasn't that crazy, but I mean, when you're playing women's hockey your whole life, and I mean, when you're playing high school, you're not really shown to those, Olympians. And let me tell you, there were some big girls on that team, very tall. Like, it was kind of scary. But I think the biggest adjustment with college hockey was not even the gameplay. It was, having to wake up bright and early for practice, right? And you're lifting and skating all in one day. It's not separated. And being able to push yourself every single day, it was very hard. That was a big adjustment. I mean, at Culver, we had ice every day, but I mean, you weren't working out as well, and staying after practice to make sure you're stretching, you're fueling right. I think that was the biggest adjustment for me, was being able to show up to the rink every single day, being able to push yourself so you could be ready to face like those girls that are Olympians. I mean, because if you're not, then you're going to be kind of on the back end. And I think when I started my first game, that kind of showed. Like, I was a little shaky at first, but I mean, by mid first period, second period, I was like, okay, like you deserve to be here. You're okay. Like, you can settle down. I had a meeting with my coaches right after, and they're like, what was the most stressful part? I was like, I just didn't want to let in my first goal. I was like, so once I let in that first goal, I was very settled down and kind of back in my place of just like, you know what, this is just hockey. Like, yes, it's a lot faster. Girls are a lot bigger. And there's a lot more, there's a lot more people there than in high school watching you. So being able to like focus on the game, and not looking in the stands, seeing who's there, I mean, they're pretty big stadiums. I mean,
Yeah.
So just being able to, have that crowd around you and just actually like lock in. I mean, in high school, your parents are there, but when you're in college, like you said, playing at the highest level, people who look up to you are constantly coming, and you just got to find a way to lock it in. So finding a way like, hey, like, I understand, like, I'm in this big stadium, but being able to just hone in on the game was definitely something I had to get used to.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's not even like on a skill sense. It's just like you go up another level and everything you just mentioned. The size of the arenas, the amount of money that's going into it is different. The facilities, the fans are crazier, they're more intense, and there's more of them too. So it's not even like I've got 30 crazy intense fans. It's like, oh, there's thousands of crazy intense fans. People take college hockey really seriously. So I mean, like, you can get some nasty fan bases, and that can be hard to deal with mentally as a player. Obviously, that's the point. They want to get in your head. As
Yes.
a goalie, I feel like fan bases obviously they target goalies because
Oh yeah. I got it. It's all your fault. Trust me,
yeah,
I got it all. Once they found out that I was a freshman and that was my first game, how they found that out, I have no idea. But I was chopped liver at that point to the
yeah.
fans. But
Right, and if you have a bad game, your own fans turn on you, and then if you're having a bad game, the other team's fans are just on you because they know you're already having a bad game, so they just like add to it. I mean, that's got to be, yeah. I've never really thought about that being like one of the harder adjustments. I just
yeah,
always think of speed of the game, the size, the skill, blah blah blah. But I mean, all that other stuff which factors into the mental game is
right.
is really pretty intense.
Yeah. To
And
say the
what were you gonna say?
I mean, to say the least. I mean, even, getting used to warm ups, like
Mhm.
that's such a small adjustment. But I mean, you're not warming up for 5 minutes anymore. You're warming up for about 10. And, you go out there and you see everyone and you're like, okay, whoa, like I got about 10 minutes to lock it in here before we go back out there again. But it was really quick, like, got used to it. I mean, coming from RIT, we have the corner crew, they're always loud and crazy and obnoxious. So playing some games at home before, you go away definitely helps because, okay, I know what I'm gonna be used to. But I think seeing that from the bench compared to when you're actually in the net, it's a completely different scenario.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned the corner crew, and just voted everything college hockey student section of the year.
Oh yeah.
Can't say I agree with it. I mean, I know the corner crew gets kind of rowdy, but geez, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of unhappy people in college hockey with that decision. And I
They
don't
are
know.
the best fans that you'll ever
Ooh,
have, man.
ooh,
Like you could have a completely empty stadium, but
ooh.
that corner crew corner is always full.
See,
Always.
only in the corner though.
I mean, yeah, they have their own corner, but we gotta keep them. We gotta keep them together.
I
They
want to know
gotta.
how this decision was made. Who voted on this? Who made this decision? What teams were in consideration? I feel like, I mean, going to Tech, the Mitch's Misfits they're nuts. The Tech fans are crazy Tech hockey. But then you've got the Children of Yost. I mean, they're bonkers. The Lawson Lunatics. I mean, there's some great fan groups out there. And I know RIT Corner Crew is one of them.
Mhm.
I don't know if I agree that they're the best.
Hey, you can fight them for it because they're pretty hyped about it now, and I'm thinking next year they're gonna be a little bit larger, a little bit louder. I mean,
I
this
think
is
some of these other
the
fan bases are going to be larger and louder too, though, because they're offended that they weren't chosen. Like, I don't know.
what can I say?
There's probably paying everything college hockey on the table, throwing a little cash over. Hey, vote for us. Trying to get that name out there a little bit more.
Maybe just a little bit.
Probably paid just a little more than Michigan paid, and
Yeah, maybe just a tad.
no, I know RIT Corner Crew is a rowdy group of
Okay.
fans. I'm not taking that away. I'm messing around here. But I'm curious, like how they came to the decision. What were they looking for when they were choosing their fan section of the year? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to pick because there are a lot of great fan sections. The one I listed are nationally known, and there's other teams that have fantastic rowdy fans. So, what is the criteria to be the best fan section?
Yeah, I want to know. I mean, I know the biggest thing that we appreciate. I mean, our corner crew isn't just like when we're home. They travel with us. So, like, not with us, but like if we're at Syracuse, like they're there. and then you got your corner crew, and I mean they start a little bit of anger against the other fans, but they're always there. You'll never have a game where they're not there. I mean, my first game, like they somehow they knew that I was playing my first game, and I had printouts of my name with brick walls, like they're behind you. I mean, they're everywhere, and it doesn't matter how far
They
they
have
are there.
spies within the team that are leaking information on who's starting.
I don't know, because I found out that morning. So unless they're talking to my coach, I don't know.
Maybe they have an in with the coach, like a one-way communication line with the coach. Maybe that's their
Maybe,
secret to success.
maybe.
I don't know. The other teams might maybe be taking notes here, and they should get a one line, a line in with their coach. Otherwise, they'll just be sitting second fiddle to the RIT corner crew again next year.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I definitely think though. I mean, that is one of the most fun things about college hockey for students and athletes is the fan groups that you can join. I mean, obviously NHL fans, people get rowdy, they get fun, but it's like different. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm a Florida Panthers fan because I'm from Florida, but there's like this pride about the school that you attend, the school that you play for. This like it becomes your school. I mean, for the rest of your life, you're an RIT alum. You went to RIT, yada yada yada. So you got that like stronger connection, and I think that's one thing that makes college hockey so much fun.
Right. I completely agree. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's your home too. I mean, even like our women's team, I mean, when we go to a men's hockey game, like we're cheering for our school.
Right.
It's not like going to a Buffalo game. I mean, like you're there cheering for your school. I mean, not gonna lie, sometimes when the men's team playing, like we get in the corner crew, like we get in there. We know the chance. But like you said, it is really important. I mean, it's something special. You're cheering for your community and for your team. I mean, that's like where you're from.
Yeah.
So it's really important.
And if people are fans of like a different college, you grow up being a whatever UMass fan or something, and then you go to RIT, you become an RIT fan, or like wherever school you end up going, kind of like trumps whatever school you used to root for, and that team falls off, and now you're one with your school.
I agree. I agree.
And if you get caught wearing the wrong jersey, you get ostracized. And
Oh, yeah, you better not show up there in different t-shirts, different
no, man,
sweatshirts, no jerseys, no beanies, no hats, man.
no,
Don't do that.
you'll be shunned out of the way. The RIT corner crew is not going to take any of that.
Oh, they will not take any of that. Not at all.
What is RIT's biggest rival?
We have a couple. I mean, for our women's team, it's definitely Syracuse. Because I mean that's the closest one to us. So I mean you go to one of those games, they have that little orange mascot running around, and they got the RIT corner crew chasing them, and I mean you can tell. I mean, anytime we go to Syracuse, I mean it's locked in. You can tell it's a rivalry. I mean, we're ready to go. Like, not that we're not ready to go for every other game, but I mean, it's like championship level game every single time. Like you are ready to go. Like the whole week, you're like, you know what? Like you guys, like who we're playing.
Yeah.
On the men's side, I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea. I mean, they're pretty much rivals with everyone. So
Yeah. So you're saying don't show up to a women's game wearing a Syracuse sweatshirt if you go to RIT.
Yeah, no, that is the biggest no-no. The biggest no-no.
Yeah. There you go, everybody. You've been warned.
You've been warned.
So I had Addie Carr on a while back, and I'm trying to remember. Do you guys have a pretty young team? Did you have a pretty young team? I think we talked.
Yeah, so we are well, it'll be this year juniors. Last year we were very sophomore heavy.
Yeah.
We had 3 graduates this year. I mean, we have a couple juniors, sprinkled in there. We had my freshman class was 5. I mean, our base of our team was our sophomore class. And I'm not sure when you talked to her, but I mean, her freshman year, they were so young, so
Yeah.
young. Like being freshman heavy was kind of crazy. I mean, they had a freshman goaltender. Most of the defense were freshmen. I mean, everything around that. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's a complete change of game. So having a young team was definitely hard. But I mean, we were, yes, young, but I mean, if you put us on the ice, I mean, you couldn't really tell. You wouldn't be able to pick out like, oh, like these kids are younger than these ones,
Yeah.
which was really nice.
So the team has kind of been in a building situation. I mean, when you have like a class that's young, you got to like build off of that class. And obviously the success isn't going to come right away because it's hard to win in college hockey with a young base. But the whole hope is that young base gets a crap ton of experience. And then by the time they're juniors and seniors, your building is kind of complete. I feel
Right.
like your team is headed in that direction now. As that class gets older, your building is coming more to complete, and you guys will be pretty dangerous here coming up.
Right. I mean, we have a motto. It's even in our locker room everywhere. It's brick by brick. You know, we're trying to build a house here.
Yeah.
And you know, we're just gonna build it brick by brick. Every year we have a new brick. You know, we gotta lay the foundation, you know, you gotta build up the bricks, you know, one person can't do that. And I think as the season continued, we definitely did. I mean, we had a big game against Penn State. We got blown out one morning, and then we were like, you know what, guys, we gotta build off this, like brick by brick. And next day we came back and tied them. You know, and like, you know, I mean, Penn State's a very strong, heavy team, so that was huge. I mean, it's like, okay, if we can, like, we know we can skate with them, you know, like we know we can play with them. It's just, you know, laying that foundation, like you said, and growing off of like, you know, the hardships, because we are going to have them. You know, we're not like UMD, like, you know, and it's going to take some time. Like one day we will be better than them, you know, but it's going to take some time. We're very young, you know, we're creating a culture here. And I mean, we did have very, very tight games against very good teams, but I mean, it's going to take time until we're, you know, where we want to be. Like our coach is like, we're never going to settle, you know, but we're still not where we want to be, you know, but we'll get there. We will get there.
And that's the first step, is getting those close games, knowing that you can hang with them, and then eventually you end up beating them. I mean, it's hard
Right.
to come up against a big team and just beat them right away. Upsets happen, obviously, but the first step is, okay, we can consistently hang with the good teams. Right, next step is let's start beating them. You know
Exactly.
you can, you know you're right there. You just got to
Yeah,
push yourself over that hill.
exactly. I agree. I mean, we were really close. I mean, we took him to overtime, you know, held him there. You know,
Yeah.
we had a pretty couple close calls. I mean, just that puck just right on the line, you know, if someone just tapped it in. But
Yeah.
I mean, those are the most fun games you'll ever be a part of.
Yeah. Sometimes that is the worst feeling though. Like if you're putting shots on and you just can't get anything to go, you're like, we can't really do anything else. Like their goalie is just unreal right now, and like we're laying on the heat, and or you know, sometimes you see in games where there's like a complete mess in front of the net, and you're like, how did they not score? Like, oh my gosh. And it's just like there's literally a wall stopping you, not the goalie. Just sometimes it feels like there's a different wall there that just won't let the puck go in.
Hey, that's our secret. We can't tell anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, the goalies have like a secret force shield behind them that prevents, you know.
We only put it up when we need it. Only
Right,
when we need
right. All right, well, let's switch gears out of hockey here for a little bit. Are you a big music person?
Oh, I listen to music everywhere and anywhere.
So, do you have a favorite band, artist? What are you into?
Well, I don't have a favorite artist. Okay, well, Justin Bieber, I have to say. I'm still in my young girl stage, but I'm kind of growing out of it, okay? I'm getting there.
Good.
But
That's
I'm
that's
a big
good.
country. I'm a big country girl.
Oh,
music.
had
It's
this
my
discussion in the last episode. It hasn't been posted yet. It will be before yours. But are you a country fan or are you a pop fan? Do you like Morgan Wallen? Because if you like Morgan Wallen, you're not a country fan. You're a pop fan.
maybe I'm a mix of both. Like if
Morgan
I
Wallen is not country. I'm not saying I don't like Morgan Wallen. I really like Last Night. That song's that is a great song. You
come
know,
on, that's pop. Now that is
that
pop.
is
That's
that is
not.
pop. That is pop. He is a
But
pop singer. He took country like bass, and then he threw pop in there. He's like got a southern voice. Some of his songs have like a rap feel to them, like that new
they
album.
do.
Yeah, that
Like
is
you
not country.
proof, you proof. He's rapping in there.
That's why he's so popular now, because he's not a true country singer. If he was a true country singer, just singing straight country, he would not be as popular as he is.
I can agree. I can agree. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're kind of right. Now that I think about it, maybe I don't like. Maybe I can't say I'm a big country fan then, or I just have to say I don't like Morgan Wallen.
Our meeting's gonna end in 10 minutes because Zoom said.
We better get moving.
Gotta get that Zoom Pro here, I guess. But yeah, no, he's not country, in my opinion. He is that's why he's popular. He realized that country singers, just like you like straight country, you only attract people who just like country. That's it. But if you open yourself up a little, there's gonna be country people that like you, and then you're gonna pull in the today's hits people and all that.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I'm mixed. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my pregame albums, are not they're very heavy metal type, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's good
walking
stuff.
around and people are like, dude, I can hear your music, and I'm like 5 feet away from you, and it's like coming out of your headphones. Like, what's going on there?
What do you listen to hype up?
Thunderstruck is right before I go on the ice. Like music like that. Okay. It's kind of like it starts off kind of slow, like when I'm warming up the hands, and then like once it kind of gets to game time, it's like Thunderstruck, Back in Black. Like I'm just locked in, head down. But
lock in. That's good stuff.
But if I'm just driving, on a sunny day, it's straight country and nothing else.
They're all over the board.
It's a goalie thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Goalies are weird. That's what they say. Goalies are weird.
They are.
That's not a bad thing, though. So, do you have any useless talents?
I can do the worm.
Not everyone can do the worm. That's a useless talent, because what does it really get you? Just like people will cheer for you at a party. Like, that's really it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I will be in the center of the circle doing the worm. I mean, you know what? People are like, I'll walk into a house the next day and they'll be like, you know what, Bellina, you were doing the worm yesterday. Like we remember that. Like those are things we remember. But like, will I ever use that in the real world? No. I won't.
That's a useless talent. That is a good useless talent. It's great for like people are gonna remember you at the party, but it's not gonna get you anywhere in life. It's not like you're gonna be the worm champion of the world. Or anything like.
Yeah, I definitely won't be that. But
let's see here. How about this? I'm always trying to think of like different like questions, just see what people's responses are. And sometimes it's hard to think of different questions, but if you had to have either no phone for 1 year or you were completely alone and isolated, but you had your phone. Like you could snap people, you could text people, but you will not come in human contact with a person for an entire year. Or you get rid of your phone and you can see anyone you want whenever you want for that year.
I'd get rid of my phone. I would 100% get rid of my phone. I'm a very big people person. I always have to be by my friends, by my people. I mean, being home right now away from my team and my friends in Rochester is even hard. I mean, yeah, like I can snap them and FaceTime them, but it's not the same,
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Go play hockey with no shooters?
Yeah, you'll be by yourself.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of people that would pick the like being alone because they could not stand like not having a phone for a year.
Yeah, I mean, That is true. I could see. I had to think about it for a second, but
What about $1 million? If you like no phone for a year, you get $1 million.
oh God, I would take that $1 million because then
There's
by
a
the
lot.
end of it, I could buy myself a new phone.
There's a lot of people who would say no. They can't like handle being without their phones. It's kind of crazy to think about. You
I
gotta think
think.
about it though. Like in your head, you're like, okay, yeah, it's $1 million, but
I mean, yeah. I think the hardest thing for me wouldn't be losing Snapchat. Like this sounds so weird. Not Snapchat, not TikTok, nothing. It's my maps. I would be so lost on the road.
you don't
I
want to
would
pull
not know
out the
how to
big
get
atlas.
anywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop at a service class to get the big.
Yeah, the huge big books that they have, and you're like looking, where are you? Okay, I'm here.
Exactly. I mean, I still get lost with my maps on my phone. So like, how I'm gonna do it without it, I don't know. I'd figure it out.
There you go. See, that's the reason you gotta have your phone for Google Maps.
That's it. So.
All right. Well, I'd love to keep talking, but we had all our technical issues and Google Meets wouldn't let me record anymore, and Zoom doesn't like my microphone. So I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward because I don't want to buy Zoom Pro if I can't use my microphone. So I'm going to have to find some other way to figure this out. But that's my problem. So, um, thanks for coming on this episode of the podcast and talking about the crazy RIT Corner Crew, who may or may not deserve the title they were just given, but we'll let them have it for now. Tech can have it next year. So
well, you know what? We'll just keep winning it back to back.
Okay, all right. You just threw down the gloves. It's showdown now. All these other teams are coming.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It was
of course
very fun. It was nice speaking to you, and hopefully we'll talk again for sure.
Yeah, definitely.